It's me, your boy Rob Roman, from Storytime Storylines. And did you know that at the time of me filming this video, if you Googled Black Lesnar, you get a picture of Bobby Lashley as the first result? Now that's funny. Stay tuned and strap yourselves in tight, because this one is gonna be a doozy. How to save Bobby Lashley. Hey, how you doing? It's your boy Rob Roman from Storytime Storylines, and this week we are doing How to Save Bobby Lashley. Now, like my last video with Sanity, that one might have been slightly offensive. This one's definitely going to offend some people. And I'm not doing that to be edgy or cool, but just because I love wrestling and I think this is going to be an awesome storyline. And I also want to preface it by saying, I know for a fact the WWE would not touch this storyline with a 10-foot pole. I realize that. But still, it's fantasy booking, and I can do whatever the hell I want. So let's get right into this, bees, and do it. So, it's no secret since Bobby Lashley has been back in the WWE, he has been booked absolutely horribly. His debut was on the same night we got main roster call-ups from NXT. The same night as the shakeup. So he was clearly overshadowed. He came out somewhere in the middle of the show and did a stalling vertical suplex thing that he does to Elias. Not the biggest return. The following weeks after that, he was stuffed away in the mid-card, paired in multi-man matches, 6-man tags, and tag team matches with Braun Strowman. Which, if that would have been leading to something, would have been a great idea. However, it was leading to absolutely nothing. Then, they decided to finally highlight Bobby Lashley, weeks and weeks after his debut, only to have him talk about his sisters. Now, I don't know if that was his decision, or if that was the WWE's decision, in some weird attempt to make him gain sympathy and seem like a likable guy. It didn't work. It was horrible, cringeworthy. Then after that, they paired him with Sami Zayn, who is an incredible worker, but the storyline was again horrible, horrifying and cringeworthy. The weird pieces where Sami Zayn would be talking about his sisters, or Bobby Lashley coming out very mild-mannered and soft-toned, threatening Sami Zayn, and then, of course, the obstacle course, which I don't think many of us will be forgetting for some time. Unless you already have, and if you have forgotten about that obstacle course, good on you, because I still haven't. I wish I could. Horribly booked. And to tell you the truth, and I don't say this in any sarcastic sort of way, I legitimately think it's possibly done on purpose. I think maybe he was purposely booked this way to sort of cool him down and just take another big star from somebody else's company and completely cool them off before sending him on his way. Fired. Oops. They don't really say fired unless it's kayfabe these days. Future endeavored, which is definitely Bobby Lashley's future if he doesn't get his ish together. And I know it's not about Bobby Lashley. Of course, he could be better on the mic. Athletically, you can't say anything about the guy. He puts on great matches. He always have. But on the mic, he could tend to be a little bit stronger. And we'll get to that. But you know what? All this bad booking, everything that's happened, I know in previous Storytime storylines that I've created, I've altered certain things, made people not be injured or be placed on a different show. I'm not going to do that with this. I'm going to take all the negativity and all the badness that they've just given Bobby Lashley since he's been back, and I'm going to use it to make it awesome. And I don't mean like The Miz. I mean awesome in holy crap, how did you turn that gigantic pile of ish into something usable? I'm going to do it because I'm talented. Or maybe just a dick. We'll see. But here we go. So the first thing I would have is Bobby Lashley come out on Monday Night Raw, booked against Curt Hawkins. Curt Hawkins comes out first. He's talking about getting rid of that really bad losing streak he has. I think he's at over 200 at this point. He's going to run his mouth about how he's finally going to end that streak against all odds against his bigger, regularly scheduled opponent, Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's music hits. He comes out. He does not pose. He doesn't placate, jump around. He does nothing. He comes out with a brisk pace towards the ring. And his face is emotionless to slightly annoyed. He gets in the ring. He spears Curt Hawkins harder than a Spartan at war. He gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. He doesn't raise his hand. He rolls directly out of the ring. And he leaves with the same brisk pace he had walking down to the ring. Now they catch him maybe a few minutes later or a little bit later in the night, leaving the arena for a backstage interview. And they ask him, wow, Bobby Lashley, you've been very impressive since coming back to the WWE, and tonight was no exception. What we all want to know is, how do you feel about the big win tonight? And what does the future hold for Bobby Lashley? And Bobby just looks up. He takes the mic and says, the big win? Really? What does the future hold for Bobby Lashley? Really? Okay. And then he just leaves. The next week, 2 people are about to have a match. 2 people somewhere in the mid-card, a filler match, not really important. It could be Curt Hawkins again and maybe Elias or somebody else. It really wouldn't matter. But there's a filler match about to take place. You have Bobby Lashley's music hit. He comes down in regular civilian clothes. He gets into the ring. He asks for a mic. He looks both guys right in the eyes, and he says, listen, I got some stuff I got to get off my chest. Get out, or I'll put you out. This is real. The guys look at each other. Hey, all right. And they leave the ring. They look a little confused, a little upset that they won't get that TV time for their filler match this week, but they leave. Bobby Lashley takes a microphone, and he says, everyone has always asked me what happened 10 years ago. It's no secret. It seemed like I was a young superstar on the rise. Everybody wanted to know, and maybe still wants to know, why I left the WWE. And if you can't tell by my wonderful presence right now, over the past couple months, after being back in the WWE after 10 years, I'll explain it to you. It's connected. You see, 10 years ago, I started out as a big guy, athletic, talented, and I was holding my own over on SmackDown against guys, veterans like Fit Finlay, veterans like William Regal. I gradually moved up the card, and I was standing across the ring from guys like Batista and Booker T. And I held my own. And though I came up short in winning the World Heavyweight Championship a few times, I held my own, I paid my dues, and I used it as a learning experience. And then I got moved to Monday Night Raw, and things got better and better and better until I went up against John Cena for the WWE Championship. And I know what everybody's thinking. No, this is not that. This isn't about John Cena. This is about Bobby Lashley. Now, I'm not going to run John Cena down like most of his opponents usually do, talking about how he buried me, did this, that, or the other. He's a company man, and he simply did what the company told him to do. And I have no hard feelings against John Cena, because you know what? John Cena is a smart man. He's positioned himself well, and he did what he had to do. And if it was me in his shoes, I would have done it too. But ever since that match, everything just went downhill from there. And I couldn't figure out why. My performances had been better than ever. I was learning more. I was getting more talented. And what did they do with me? Nothing. Until they up and decided, out of the blue, to stick me on a dying show that was never meant to succeed. I'm talking about the revival of ECW. And they shot me to the top of the bottom, allowing me the opportunity to win a world championship that no longer even exists today. But it didn't stop there. Finally, when I made it back to the main roster, because yes, ECW was never seen as an equal as SmackDown or Raw. Once I made it back to the main roster, you know what happened then? I got caught up in Vince McMahon himself's egotistical games. I ended up playing second fiddle. I ended up playing a pawn in Vince McMahon's game against the leader of the free world today. I won't say his name, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. But hey, guess what? I guess there's still some videos online of me forcing Vince McMahon to get his head shaved, huh? And after not too long, I just sort of up and disappeared, didn't I? You know, all the crap that I've taken over the years, all the crap that was going on back then, this glass ceiling that I just couldn't seem to break through. I realized I could accept it, I could pay my dues, and at some point, Bobby Lashley was going to make it to the top of the card. And then someday, I'd be a world champion, a real world champion. And you know what happened? Reality. I ran into somebody backstage. I'm not going to say his name. Snitches get stitches. But the ones of you that are smart know who I'm talking about. I ran into somebody backstage who was a little bit allergic to my skin color. And I handled it like a yes man. I let him know that what it wasn't cool. I let him know what way it was supposed to be. And I ran things up the chain of command. And you know what happened? The same reoccurring theme for Bobby Lashley in this company. Not a damn thing. So I had it. And I up and I left. I pursued my dreams of being a fighter in the MMA. And I did pretty damn well at it. Then I went to another company, strapped up the boots, and I went back to work. Wrestling. Not entertaining, but wrestling. And you know what happened? I became just as famous, just as successful in that company. I held every single title there was to hold at the same damn time. Because Bobby Lashley is the real deal. And everybody loved it. Or maybe they hated it, but they at least respected it. Fast forward to now, 10 years later, I thought things might be different. So I was willing to give it a shot. Got that phone call, signed those papers, and I came back. And you see what I've been given. So I see the game around here. I know what's what. I thought it'd be different, but the fact of the matter is, it's the same smell, different nostril. Ain't nothing changed but the name on the mail. Well, you know what? I'm through with that. I'm done waiting for an opportunity. I'm done watching undeserving guys half as talented as me, half as athletic as me, get shot after shot after shot at the main event, at the World Championship, at the Universal Championship. I'm not going to be overshadowed by none of these small folk anymore. Small-minded, small-bodied, and small hearts. And as one of your favorite wrestlers around here would say, you can believe that. He drops the mic and he leaves. He's insinuated a few things, but he hasn't flat out said it yet. That's coming. I want you to think back on the most successful thing R-Truth ever did in his entire career. And I don't just mean WWE. There's more than just WWE. And I say that as a lifelong WWE fan. I'm talking about R-Truth's pipe bomb about race as he was chasing the NWA World Championship over at TNA. We're going to derive from that a little bit. So the next week, after these shocking comments, I want WWE to play it as a worked shoot, and they put out messages on their website that say, okay, we're sorry if anybody was offended. We're going to handle this. It's no problem. Bobby Lashley apologizes. The next week on Raw, he's entering into the building. He's got his bags on him. They stop him for an interview, and he says, Bobby Lashley apologizes? No, I don't apologize. In fact, we're not even going to handle this backstage like they want to. If Triple H, Paul Levesque, wants to talk to me, we can do it in the ring, because that's how things get done around here, right? Later on in the night, Triple H's music hits. He calls out Bobby Lashley, and he says, now, Bobby, I got to tell you, it was a very passion-filled promo last week, and I know what you're talking about, missed opportunities, being held back, glass ceilings. I've been there all the way back to Sunday Night Heat when I sat down with JR and I told the world that I was going to be the star I was always supposed to be and that I was done taking the crap. But a lot's changed since then. And now as the COO of this company, you asked me to clear this up with you right here. You can't say or make accusations like what you said or the accusations that you made last week. I'd like to offer you a compromise, a solution. You drop all of this and you get yourself a championship match. Bobby laughs. He says, okay. So when would I be facing Roman Reigns? And he says, Triple H looks at him and he says, no, not Roman. What I mean is, if you want, I can get you in the ring with Seth Rollins for an Intercontinental Championship match tonight. He's a fighting champion. I know he would agree to it. And Bobby says, you know what? I knew you were going to come with some bullshit like this. And yes, bullshit. Let him bleep it out. If Lesnar can get away with it, Black Lesnar can get away with it too. And Bobby Lashley says, you know, I did insinuate some things last week. I did say some things last week that maybe I shouldn't have said. But you know what? I guess if I'm going out in a blaze of glory. The fact of the matter is, Triple H, the thing that's held me back around here the most is the fact that I'm black. It's because I'm black. The same reason held back. The same reasoning you used for Booker T to be buried at WrestleMania. You remember that? I haven't forgot it. It's because I'm black. But you know what, Hunter? There's a flip side to that coin. It's because I'm black that I'm a better athlete than any other guy on this show, on the other show, or any other show in between. I mean, just look at sports. When you're born with my complexion, you tend to be more athletic. You tend to be faster, stronger than everybody else on the field and everybody else in the ring. Take any sport, basketball, baseball, football. We even got a guy over in golf. So you tell me, Hunter, what's holding me back if it's not that? I got the look that the old man likes. I'm big. I get my pump in. I'm bigger than half the damn roster. Wait, is it because I don't have a long lineage in this business? Maybe because I'm not Samoan. Or maybe because I don't come from Connecticut. And Triple H breaks in. He says, listen, we're not doing this here. We're not doing this here. And Bobby Lashley says, you know what? You're absolutely right. We'll do it again next week. And he drops the mic and he leaves. Hunter's just dumbfounded. Bobby Lashley the next week comes out. Triple H is waiting in the ring. And he wants Bobby Lashley to sign an official and formal apology for the disparaging things that he said over the past couple weeks. And Bobby says, I'm not signing a damn thing. In fact, I'm not saying another damn thing. See, I know how you guys work. And I know that this ain't the color of business around here. So I decided to get myself some representation. Someone who can go toe-to-toe with the corporate goons like you, with the board of directors, and with certain somebodies backstage that don't want to see somebody like me shine. And then you hear, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. And Bobby Lashley here has decided he requires my services. And since the Beast is now back in the UFC, well, my dance card is wide open. Anything you want to negotiate with my client can be negotiated through me. Paul Heyman looks at Triple H and he says, for future reference, we are not signing that. And for future reference, any matches that will be booked for my client, Bobby Lashley, will be first run by me. And just to preface any future dealings that we may have with you, you should know that my client has expressed to me that if you send some lower card jobber, some hometown hero, or some no-name, or somebody with a 213 match losing streak to face my client on his precious time, he gets pissed and that guy gets hurt. The games are over, Mr. Game. And from now on, Bobby Lashley will get the respect and the opportunities that he deserves. Because, and I think he's going to like this, Bobby, black leets matter. My client is a black athlete and he matters. And then they leave. And that is going to be Bobby Lashley's heelish gimmick from now on. Whenever something's not going his way, whenever he doesn't get an opportunity, whenever he loses a match, he's going to blame it on it's because I'm black. And he's going to play the race card brilliantly, especially now that the responsibility of holding a microphone and delivering a decent promo will now be up to Paul Heyman. And this opens all kinds of fun, risque, edgy type storytelling. Eventually, he's going to run into John Cena, and they're going to play the race card there. John Cena with his rapping background and his urban attitude and his urban attire. And then you're going to have Bobby Lashley basically calling John Cena a wigger. He'll never actually say it, but he'll insinuate it. He'll call him things like Vanilla Ice. He'll call him things like Mark Wahlberg, Where's the Funky Bunch? Things like that. He'll call him Macklemore. And that'll lead to their big match, which Bobby Lashley should go over. Because Bobby Lashley needs all the big wins he can get. He doesn't need to be booked against someone like Roman Reigns. Beat that guy clean at an Extreme Rules, have it mean absolutely nothing, and then be booked weeks later in a #1 contender qualifying match just to lose to Roman Reigns. That is 50-50 booking, and that doesn't help anyone except the person who picks up the last victory. Because Roman Reigns ended up going on to win the Universal Championship while Bobby slid further down the card. This leads to great storytelling, great matches, And I think based on the things that he would be saying, because they're so controversial and because it's so, in a lot of situations, not true, it would help Bobby get some real heat from the people who don't like that he's saying the things he's saying. But from the other side of the people who do feel like it's like that sometimes, not just in the WWE, but in the wrestling business as a whole, they would support Bobby Lashley. And you have this strange dynamic that you have half the people cheering for Bobby and you have the other half of the people booing for Bobby. And it's not a John Cena, Roman Reigns, let's go Cena, Cena sucks, or let's go Roman, Roman sucks situation. This is a genuine split crowd, like Bret Hart being a hero in Canada and being a villain in the US. And I think this could work wonders for Bobby. He would not have to say much. And when he did have to say much, this is an issue in America, always has been. I think he would be able to articulate a little bit better because it's an actual real problem that I'm sure he's faced in his lifetime. But for the most part, Paul Heyman would be handling all of that for him anyway when it comes to the microphone. This could lead to great matches against John Cena. He can get booked against Roman Reigns again, where he can tell Roman Reigns, you're not the big dog, you're just a big bitch. And the fact of the matter is, if we get in the ring again, you and I both know that that's exactly what I'll make you. Because I don't care about your bloodline, I don't care about the rich heritage of Samoan wrestlers that have run through this company and other companies. You don't deserve to hold that strap. I do. And when you beat me to become #1 contender for the Universal Championship, you should know that I know and that everybody else knows all you did was tie it up. Because you and I, Roman, are 1-1. So why don't we do a tiebreaker and let's see who that strap really belongs to. I want Bobby Lashley to use this as a springboard with Paul Heyman on the mic. This very controversial storyline that he has and new gimmick, it would launch him to all kinds of new heights that he hasn't experienced before. Legitimate championship opportunities, a legitimate run with the championship at some point. I want people to forget about what happened 10 years ago with him in the company, and I want to see him basically emerge as basically twice as arrogant as he was in TNA when he was winning all the championships. I want him to be a dastardly bastard heel, but one that's not a coward, which is the common theme with the WWE. Every heel has to be a coward. Every heel has to cheat to win, with the exception of Brock Lesnar. This won't be Bobby Lashley. He will be a strongly booked heel, like, I don't know, Triple H was when he was in Evolution. He came out strong a lot of times, despite at times using Evolution to help him win his matches. A lot of times he came off just strong as a heel, and it really made people despise him. You give that, plus the controversy of the race car that he would be playing, get him a t-shirt that says Black Leets Matter. It's explosive, it would garner real heat, but it would help him. It would help him get the reaction that he's not getting right now. You have him go up against legitimate guys. The roster is full of great guys he can put on some cool matches with. Now, I know Kevin Owens just currently kayfabe quit, but at some point he could have faced Kevin Owens, the prize fighter, and you have those two duke it out. Maybe a one-off or even a 3-month rivalry where Kevin Owens maybe transitions into being a face and goes back to that prize fighter gimmick that he has, and have Bobby Lashley making fun of his stature and his weight and his style and how much success he's had in the WWE just because he's the right color. And you have him go up against guys like Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, just to build his credibility and get some real wins under his belt before actually taking the top prize of the show that he's on. And you can have him go against someone like Braun Strowman. Have him come out one week, running his mouth with Paul Heyman, talking about how he's the real deal and how the only reason he's not getting anywhere in this company, despite all of his victories, despite his dominance, is because he's black. And then finally have Braun's music hit, and he comes out, raises his arms, does his thing, and says, listen, I am tired of hearing about all this crap about you not getting this and you not getting that. What you can get is these hands. A showdown between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley, booked correctly, that could be amazing. You could get destruction. They take out both announce tables. You have them ram through two sides of the barrier, break tables, and you could see them break the ring, or you could see them break through the LED boards on the top of the entranceway. Backstage brawls and things of that sort. I think Braun Strowman would be an especially good opponent for Bobby Lashley. And actually to show Bobby Lashley, who has dominated most of the smaller competition he's had in the past, to have somebody match him completely in power, I think that would be really awesome. I also really want to see the John Cena Bobby Lashley feud and have them do that. That's another rivalry that works. John Cena is a guy that can put on a great match, and he really is good at putting over talent that needs it. Despite people thinking that he always buries, I think that chapter in his career has been long gone. He's put over so many guys over the past couple of years, guys like AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, which they didn't have like a huge pay-per-view thing, but Dean Ambrose went over John Cena on a Raw in a contract on a pole match to see who had the right to face Seth Rollins. He put him over there. He's put over countless people, and he can put over Bobby Lashley, and he can make it believable. Maybe you have an appearance by The Undertaker. That would be another match that could be really something special, to have Bobby Lashley go up against The Undertaker and just have that be a thing, Put all of this together, and I think you really have a formula to make Bobby Lashley something big again. And they're, stacking all these cards against him. You can have him team up with the Authors of Pain, not as a stable, but maybe just a temporary team-up to finally break up the Shield and bash them up and break the Shield and, make an impact. It would put Authors of Pain on the board, who are not doing anything right now. They seem to be gridlocked in a absolutely harrowing tale of rivalry between Titus Worldwide and themselves. Please do something with them. It's unbelievable what you guys have done up until this point with the Authors of Pain. Just stuff like that. You can have them attack the GM, Kurt Angle. Can you imagine a Kurt Angle Bobby Lashley match? Awesome. They're both gifted technicians in the ring. That could be fun. You could have Bobby Lashley just dominate and put on these great matches. So you have to respect and like him for that, but maybe hate him for the controversy that surrounds him. I want him to be a cocky, arrogant black athlete. Black leads matter. I want him to play the race card. I want him to make excuses, but I also want him to back up that big mouth that Paul Heyman is providing for him. And I want Bobby Lashley to be as successful as someone like Bobby Lashley should be. And then you can have the fun reintroduction of Brock Lesnar when he's done with the UFC and comes back for maybe a year or so, and you can build that match, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, which we should have gotten and didn't get. But I don't blame them, because Bobby just wasn't over enough at the time, and that's completely because of creative and because of the mild-mannered promos that he was delivering. But Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley. And then you have Paul Heyman in the middle. Who's he going to represent? Technically, they're both his clients. Stuff like this could be fun. It would give us something to watch. It would be interesting, and it would be very edgy. And I think WWE television has just not been edgy enough in some ways. And again, it's not because I'm trying to play the race card because I believe any of this. I have my own opinions, but I will not comment to them. I'm just talking about wrestling, and I think this would be a great storyline to really get Bobby Lashley back on track and where he needs to be. And then finally, seeing him go over Roman Reigns for that Universal Championship would be epic. Because then you would have a Brock Lesnar who's actually a reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world on Raw every week. Plus, it really is fun to have someone who's very powerful and credible holding the championship, because then it makes every threat that comes to that championship, it makes you wonder if that guy's going to actually win. Does he have a chance? And that's what Brock Lesnar provided when he would occasionally show up to defend the championship. You never really knew. The only reason we had sort of an insight on it is because we all knew that it was going to end with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. But take Roman Reigns out of the equation. Tell me that you didn't think for a split second in that great feud that he had with Samoa Joe, that you didn't believe for a second that maybe Samoa Joe might actually do it. Or that maybe you didn't actually, just for a second, believe Braun Strowman might be able to take down Brock Lesnar when they had their feud. Or that maybe AJ Styles could have pulled off that victory at Survivor Series. These things put together, and I think you've got the perfect formula to get some real heat, some real pops for the people who actually feel that way, and just reactions for Bobby Lashley. Plus, it's a great storyline that just, you could run with that storyline for years. It's an issue in America. It's always going to be an issue in America, in my opinion. I wish it wouldn't be, but it is, and I think you could use reality as a basis for the storyline and exaggerate it. Art imitating life. And I think it would work. And that is how, in my opinion, you save Bobby Lashley. Now I got to take this thing off because it is incredibly hot. I now know why Bobby Lashley sweats like a man on death row. I've been Rob Roman. This has been Storytime Storylines. Make sure to continue to like and comment on all my videos. Subscribe to my channel for more great content because I make this for you. I love wrestling. You love wrestling if you're watching this, or maybe you. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really appreciate you voting on the polls that I put out for what kind of content you guys want to see. I really appreciate all the participation in the comments. Please continue to smash that like button. Put comments in the comment section whether you agree with me or you don't agree with me, if you like what I'm doing, if you don't like what I'm doing. Give me ideas, suggestions, what you want to see. I'm always open for ideas. I have an open mind, and I love a good wrestling debate, which is why I do what I do. So, I've been Rob Roman, and this is Storytime Storylines. And as always, we out.